all that. Why? Oh. Okay, let's try this again. Oh. So I just wanted to point out some differences between these two shoes. I think the moment you put on the Saucony Axon, you immediately notice that this shoe is cheaper. It doesn't have that same high quality build as was spoken of by the road trail run guy. I can't remember what his name is, but that was a great video, and I thought he used great detail to talk about these shoes. You could definitely tell this one feels like it's made of way more quality. Even the lockdown feels just more consistent throughout the foot than in the Axon. The only thing I wouldn't agree with, but everyone's different, so you have to take what I say with a grain of salt, is that I feel like this shoe is way faster than this shoe. Now, the moment I put the Axon on, I felt as though it had a lower stack, but really when you put them side by side under the forefoot, they're kind of the same. And the main difference in the Saucony Endorphin Shift is that it has that under there, that 2mm layer of the eTPU, kind of like boost, and it really softens the power run midsole, and gives a little bit more response back, which I appreciate. And the shoe, since it was a thicker midsole, was inherently stiff automatically, just from the thickness of that midsole. So in this shoe, you can feel how stable it is with this rear heel cup, and the way the heel swings out. You can feel that it's a little bit more dense in the middle, as everyone talks about. So you would think with the Axon that it would be maybe a little bit unstable, or it would be perhaps maybe even wobbly, but not at all. This doesn't feel in the heel like the Endorphin Shift, or like, actually, let me pause this real quick. Or like the Endorphin Speed. The Endorphin Speed and the Shift, the Endorphin Shift, they have a similar upper where it feels as though, let me adjust my mic, sorry. They have a similar upper where it feels as though it locks you down. So I'm true to size in all my shoes. They're all 11.5. And I think they all feel good. I don't have that. I don't struggle with the size in this one. This one does feel a little loose, as you can see. I had to tighten it up a lot. That remains consistent. And this one, it doesn't stay too loose. But as for the Axon, it feels a little baggy. But I have to tell you, the moment you tighten this, it locks around your ankle up here. These overlays, for some reason, they really lock you into the shoe up here. But down here, I find somewhat of an inconsistent lockdown. So I had to retie my shoes once, and I like to use these as a rule of thumb, because you really utilize the full grip with your heel, and you really get to utilize the shoe. I feel like when you use the runner's knot. But yeah, a big difference from the Endorphin Shift, take that out of there, from the Axon, even though they're supposedly made from the same last, is that the Axon does not have that eTPU layer underneath. So it is a slightly lower stack height than the Endorphin Shift. And this, I realize that it's slightly cheaper than the insole found in the Endorphin Shift, which seems to be made of higher quality. So they found a way to make a shoe similar, but with a lighter weight, but has a similar I don't even know. The rocker on this shoe is way more early. It's far more earlier than the rocker in the Endorphin Shift. And a huge thing that I noticed with this shoe is the outsole. You can feel something's kind of funny when you start walking in the shoe. Because look at this. Ugh. Look at that. Very hard to bend. I don't know if it's harder than the... Yeah, it's about the same as the Endorphin Shift. Is this one. But the interesting thing that I was thinking about is the outsole. You get a good look at there. The outsole is connected. When you try to bend it, it's connected through here. I originally thought that this was for stability, but what it looks like is this is just to anchor down the outsole with the midsole. So when you bend the shoe, you're getting a full stretch of the midsole. You see that? So it's stretching the midsole. And what that feels like when you pick up the pace is a very snappy shoe. I have to be honest. The Axon handled my higher speeds better than the Endorphin speed. The Endorphin speed is easier to run at high speeds for a longer period of time because of that Pebax foam. It beats out the power run. But I found when I ran really fast during strides, the Pebax got kind of sloppy. But for some reason, not the shoe. The power run has a consistency, and it kind of smells like those handballs, those rubbery handballs that you play with, or wall ball that you play wall ball with. And it's nice and bouncy towards the back. The shoe was really made to be bouncy and to propel you forward. I did a 7-mile run today in these shoes, and I mean I felt great after the run. I ran a little too hard. Supposed to take it easy. I thought these were going to be like a recovery shoe. They really feel like a daily trainer, and I will be doing 7 miles is probably the most I'll be doing in these shoes, the longest distance. Actually maybe 8 miles will be the longest distance I do. Because it's a fun shoe to take up the pace, to bring up the pace. But I don't really want to be pushing it too hard as I go above 8, 10, 12 miles. I really want to take it easy, and that's what I'm going to save my Endorphin Shifts for. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. In fact, the Endorphin Shift I find has more of a bounce in the forefoot. The forefoot is bouncy. But this shoe, it seems to... See how that's kind of like... almost like a trampoline? It seems to let your midfoot spring in a little bit and then roll you through the front. So once you really get running, the shoe will take you fast, and it'll stay with you. It's not as responsive as the Endorphin Speed, once again, but once you put the power into this shoe, it feels pretty comfortable, and it's light. I think it's an ounce lighter than the Shift, which you can feel without a doubt. But you can also feel that it doesn't have the same protection as the Shift does. The Shift just feels more. You just feel more protected in the Shift. So I really appreciate this shoe. I mean, it feels. I just wanted to keep running in it. Really, I didn't want to stop at 7 miles. But this is a shoe I'm really gonna have to tame and just keep it, just like the Endorphin Speed. I do want to take the shoe much longer than that. I don't remember how many miles. Whoops. I don't remember how many miles I have in this shoe, but this is a good shoe. It's a very fun shoe to run in. I'll do a review of the shoe. But the Axon is a shoe of its own. I don't feel like it's a Shift. I feel like the Axon is more of the Endorphin Speed. It just doesn't feel like the Shift. So, and it's not as compressive. And it's more bouncy in the midfoot. The Shift is more bouncy in the forefoot. And I think that's because of this trampoline-like design that they have here underneath. And that the fact that this outsole here under the heel, it only touches in a couple spots, so you're left with a very trampoline-like feel, because the whole outsole isn't being utilized. Just a small section. The whole midsole isn't being utilized. Just a small section where the outsole is, and it's kind of beveled. So it's a wonderful ride. So budget shoe, yes, but just a low quality shoe, not at all. It feels wonderful to run in. So yeah, great. Saucony is becoming a very special shoe company to me. They feel great, and I hope this review you like. Peace.